Hello classic rock fans. I'm reporting a couple of days after seeing Pitbull at the American Family Insurance Amphitheater in Milwaukee. Mr. Worldwide is on his Can't Stop Us Now tour with Iggy Azalea, and they played Milwaukee on the same weekend as Mexican Fiesta. Now, before I get into the show, I'm sure you're wondering about my stupid hat. Well, look, I bought this hat in Florida, and considering I'm talking about Mr. 305 today, I thought it would be fun to wear for the review. So don't roast me too hard in the comments. So, if you're a fan of this channel, you might have saw my review of Miley Cyrus last year when she played the same venue as part of Milwaukee's Summerfest. In that review, I said I had become a recent convert as a fan of Miley's because the album she had put out just before that I thought was really good, and I really enjoyed that show that she did. I had never really liked much of her work before that, but again, that album she put out really impressed me, so I wanted to go see her in concert, and I also thought she was great in concert. Now, as far as being a late convert as a fan, that is not the case with me and Pitbull. I've actually been a huge Pitbull fan going back to the early 2010s as his music really became mainstream in the years that I was going to college, going to a lot of parties, and having good times with my friends. His music absolutely brings me back to those, fun party days in college for me. And I actually got a chance to see him back in 2011 at the Rave in Milwaukee, which is where a lot of pop stars on the upswing play. And since then, he's mostly played larger venues. But truth be told, it's been a number of years since my party days in college, so I hate to say it, but I really haven't thought about Pitbull a lot in the last couple of years, especially now that I'm focused really hard on this classic rock podcast and channel. But what caught my attention was that ticket prices for this show were dropping very low. I've seen a couple of big pop acts after they put out albums that didn't do very well. I saw the Chainsmokers in 2019, I saw Katy Perry in 2017, both of whom were promoting albums that didn't sell very well, and both of whom played big venues in Milwaukee, but absolutely did not fill them. Especially in the case of Katy Perry, there was a lot of empty seats in the big arena she booked to play. And also, I should say, earlier this year, I've seen two shows at this same AmFam Amphitheater that Pitbull was going to play, Kiss and the REO Speedwagon Styx Tour, that did not sell the venue out. And there was a lot of open seats when I went to those shows. Also, my conversation with Kofi Baker, talking about how it's been very hard this year for a lot of acts to sell tickets, except for acts who are on the very top of their game. Pitbull is definitely an A-list pop star, but I'll be honest, I'm not aware of any big top 10 hits he's had in the last couple of years. So my assumption through the days up until the concert was that his act was on the decline. This is why I say that. I checked for tickets the night before on Thursday night, and I saw that the furthest section back at the AmFam Amphitheater, the grass section, the lawn, was not even available for sale. That was closed. The next furthest back section, the bleachers, was almost entirely unsold. Maybe 1% of those seats had been sold. Now, the two closest sections, the covered sections, those had sold some seats, but there was a lot of gaps all over the place. So if you had a specific area that you wanted to sit, you would have no problem buying a ticket. And I should say, the bleacher section that was totally unsold, those tickets were priced at $12.50, which is among the lowest I've ever seen for a big venue like that. Now, that's $12.50 plus about another $15 or $20 worth of fees from Ticketmaster. So No, actually, not that cheap. Fuck Ticketmaster forever and always. So my thinking was I was going to go with a small group of friends, and we thought, let's just buy tickets at the box office the day of. These tickets are not going to sell out overnight. Plus, we're going down to the grounds anyway because we wanted to go to Mexican Fiesta. Now, this is a Milwaukee thing. Mexican Fiesta is one of several ethnic fests that Milwaukee is hosted on the Summerfest grounds by the lakefront for the past 50 plus years. There's Irish Fest, German Fest, Festa Italiana, Polish Fest, and Mexican Fiesta. So we thought since we were going to be going down for Mexican Fiesta anyway, we could go there, get some food, walk around, soak in the sights and sounds, and then when Pitbull comes on stage, we would go over and see him. So next morning, we wake up and see on Twitter that now Mexican Fiesta admission was being included with any Pitbull tickets that you purchase. So this is perfect. Both of our plans covered under the same ticket. So we go down to Fiesta, go to the box office, and I ask to buy some Pitbull tickets. She asks where I want to sit, and I say, cheapest. She says, okay, we have some seats in the bleachers, $20, no additional fees. Great. Buy the seats, and we make our way in. And as we make our way in, my girlfriend notices that regular admission to Mexican Fiesta is actually $22. So we actually got a discount to Fiesta for buying a Pitbull ticket. It was more expensive to just go to Mexican Fiesta without getting a ticket for Pitbull than it was to get a ticket for Pitbull and go to Fiesta. I'm sorry, that's kind of funny, you know? But in any case, when we were at the box office, we also saw the set times for both Pitbull and his opener. His opener was Iggy Azalea, and no disrespect, but we had no interest in seeing her. You know, I remember the one song, First Things First, I'm the Realist. No thanks. I'm just not a fan. No disrespect to her. That song didn't do much for me. I didn't know anything else by her. Plus, again, we wanted some extra time to enjoy Mexican Fiesta. So we walked around, got some great food, had a margarita, enjoyed some traditional music, and kind of soaked in all the sights and sounds. Mexican Fiesta is a great Milwaukee tradition. I highly recommend it. Really enjoyable event right here at the end of the summer. So Pitbull was scheduled to come on at 9:15, and at about 9 o'clock we started making our way over to the amphitheater. Now this should have tipped me off. There was a huge crowd of people going over to the amphitheater at the same time we were. And I didn't really put two and two together right away. I just thought, everybody's kind of rushing in at the last minute. There was a lot of young people. So we get in, and we have to go up to the top section, and the whole day, actually this whole time we've been talking about going to this show, in my head, I was expecting to see a like half-empty amphitheater, and I didn't have very high expectations as far as the crowd goes. I have no doubt about Pitbull being a fun show, but I really thought this was going to be kind of a pathetic crowd. Boy, was I wrong. As we get up to the 300 level and we come around the corner and we get our first look at the seating, my jaw dropped. It was almost entirely full. And it was almost entirely full with young fans who were screaming and having a great time and super energetic. And I suddenly worried about, like, oh, are we going to have a hard time getting to our seats? Because we bought our tickets a couple of hours ago. When did these tickets all sell? It all had to have been that day. And it was a ton of people, and almost everybody was in their early 20s. You know, this was a rare show where, like, I was the old guy, you know? I go to a lot of classic rock concerts, so I'm used to being the youngest guy in the crowd. This was totally flipped. So we were totally taken aback by that. But it wasn't a bad thing at all. We got over to our seats, and when Pitbull came out on stage, the crowd went absolutely nuts. This is this was one of the most energetic crowds I've ever seen for a show. The place was packed to the gills. Everybody was having a great time. Certain songs triggered some of the loudest audience responses I've ever heard in all my years seeing concerts. I hate to say this about the genre that I love so much, but even the biggest classic rock shows that I see, they do not get this reaction. You know, you definitely get fans involved, but I don't know, pop audiences, younger audiences, the enthusiasm is just through the roof, and for me, being a part of that is honestly a bit of a rarity. And I really relished that, and I enjoyed that, and I was part of it. And this is not something I get to say very often because, again, I didn't grow up in the 70s and 80s with all my classic rock bands. But I absolutely feel like I grew up, if you will, I went through college, with Pitbull as a huge part of the soundtrack of my good times. You know, he was in that class of artists like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Kesha, Miley Cyrus would be a part of that. I totally forgot how much I loved so many of these big radio hits that he just opened the show with, and they just kept coming. It was like Don't Stop the Party, Drop It to the Floor, International Love, Hotel Motel, Holiday Inn, I Know You Want Me, Rain Over Me, and then he did medleys of all these other pop songs that he did verses for, like Jennifer Lopez, On the Floor, Enrique Iglesias, I Like It, and Usher, DJ Got Us Falling in Love. And these are great songs. All of these songs are tracks I really enjoy. And also through the show, Pitbull really, either he had a A-plus DJ who was backing him up, or, and I think this is the case as well, he has a huge appreciation for a lot of other music that isn't just his lane, if you will. He's got a song called I Feel Good, and before he started playing that, they put some great black and white footage of James Brown singing his song, I Feel Good, for about a minute. That was cool.
Let's rock! Let's roll!
He had his guitarist play the opening riff of Sweet Child of Mine before starting Rain Over Me. Again, cool. Nice little classic rock moment. Another one, later in the night, he mentioned that Bon Jovi is one of his favorite bands.
See, we'll take it to the end right quick. It's Rain. I want y'all to watch one of my favorite bands.
And he played a little bit of Livin' on a Prayer before segueing into Feel This Moment. And every other song was a huge hit that totally brought me back to the early 2010s. And the few songs that I didn't know were super high energy and a lot of fun. He played every single song of his that I know. So this was just such a super robust, enjoyable show. And it was, I feel silly saying I got my money's worth because the tickets were so cheap. I got way more than my money's worth. If shows were priced on merit, I should have paid twice, if not 3 or 4 times how much that I paid for this. This was a wonderful show. If you have an appreciation for pop music, Pitbull is still performing at the top of his game. And another thing, this guy's enthusiasm really appeared genuine. In between songs, he would just be on the Jumbotron grinning, you know, with no music before he would talk to the crowd. He mentioned several times how much he appreciated fans coming out to see him. And I've talked about this before. You could tell that it was genuine. It really meant a lot to him to have this full venue of people screaming and singing along with him. The best artists have an understanding of what this means, what it means to fill an arena like that. And you could tell that he got it. So I know he's not a typical artist I discuss here on this channel, but if you're someone who has a wider taste of music and you have a side that likes pop music and he's coming to your town, check out those tickets. Wait to the day of the show. Get a good price on them, but don't skip it. Go see him because his energy is great. If my market is any indication, the crowd for your market is going to be great. So a huge thumbs up for Pitbull from me. If he comes back to my area, I'm definitely going to see him again because I know the enthusiasm is going to be top tier. And that's really the best sort of intangible thing you can hope for at a show. If you enjoyed this concert review, you might enjoy my review of the Miley Cyrus show that I saw last year. That link is in the description below. Otherwise, if you're a classic rock fan, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please check out my other classic rock concert reviews. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description below. And if you didn't know, I host a podcast about classic rock. So if you'd like to check that out, that link is in the description below as well. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. Keep rocking. Dale!